You are listening to a Life in Quebec podcast. For more, visit lifeinquebec.com.
I am Andrew Greenfield with lifeinquebec.com, and I'm joined now by Amélie Fauchon, who is a French teacher here in the Quebec City region. Bonjour Amélie.
Bonjour.
Can you tell me how long you've been a French teacher?
I've been a French teacher for 8 years now.
Okay, and that's here in the Quebec City region.
Yes, exactly.
And now we're not going to say where you have worked or currently work, but what sort of people do you teach? Do you teach adults or children?
I teach adults, and most of my students are immigrants. Some of them are Canadians who come from Ontario, British Columbia, everywhere in the country. Maybe like 10% of them are English speakers from other provinces of Canada.
Okay. Now, over the course of a year, over the course of a 12-month period, how many students would you say you teach?
Oh, that's hard to say because we get new students every week. So it's very hard for me to say how many. Usually I have a group of about 20 students, but we get students who arrive and leave every week. So personally, how many I teach in a year? Maybe up to 150.
Okay.
Or maybe a little bit more.
And how many of those 150, let's go with that figure, how many of those are immigrants? So they're not Canadians?
Yeah, about 90% of the students generally. I would say about 90%.
Something's come out in the media in the last week or so regarding immigrants learning French. And there's articles in the Devoir, there's articles on the Radio Canada website, there's even been stuff on the radio. Now, moi je suis immigrant aussi, et j'avais appris tout mon français ici, à Québec. Je n'ai pas parlé un mot de français avant de déménager ici. Mais maintenant, je suis capable de m'exprimer. But that's all because I've learnt my French here, and I'm an immigrant, so I don't understand what it is about some people saying that immigrants aren't interested in learning French. Now, what was actually said, and where was it said that made you annoyed, that got you annoyed?
Well, I've heard, I read articles and I've seen publications or posts on Facebook. A lot of people posted the article from Le Devoir, and I think the title was like 60% of immigrants don't want to learn French. And I also heard stuff on the radio, on Radio Canada, that's someone who said that they didn't want to learn French. Most immigrants didn't want to learn French. That really annoyed me because I know a lot of immigrants. I've been working with immigrants for 8 years now, and I think most of them really want to learn French. They're really motivated, and actually they make a lot of efforts to be able to speak the language. So I don't think this is true at all.
Okay. Why don't you think it's true? So the phrase that's made you annoyed is beaucoup d'immigrants ne sont pas chauds à l'idée d'apprendre le français.
Well, it's from my experience, I know here in Quebec City, at least, I've never been in contact with people who didn't want to learn French. Actually, in Quebec City, if you don't speak French, you're not going to be able to make a lot of friends, even in most of the province. Maybe in Montreal, things are a little bit different, but I know here in Quebec and most of the province of Quebec, you need to learn French. So certainly here for my students and all the immigrants I know, and I know a lot of immigrants, everybody want to learn French, and they really make a lot of efforts. I have students who work full-time. They come in the evening to learn French. Some of them take courses during the weekend, or I have students who work night shifts and come to the school maybe at 8 o'clock after a full night shift. So they're really tired, but they're so motivated that they come to school after working all night. So
okay, so Quebec City is a little different to Montreal, as you've mentioned. Now, so if you want to make friends here outside of your circle, outside, I know myself, it's very easy for me to just stick in my English bubble and chat away in English. But if I want to get out there and make friends and have a life here, then I mean, I realised very early on that I needed to learn French in order to do that.
Yeah.
So why do you think some people are saying that immigrants don't want to learn French?
Well, it's because of a study that came out, and the study says that now there's less people who register for the courses of the Ministry of Immigration. But actually, I read the article from Le Devoir, and I just think that there's some facts missing, because they talk about the courses offered by the Ministry of Immigration and also by the Ministry of Work and Employment. But there's a lot of different courses who are offered to immigrants. For example, they can take courses in the adult centers, which is paid by the Ministry of Education. Some associations offer French courses. There's a lot of different places and ways to learn French. I think it's important to look at the numbers and see that if there was actually less people who